I'll just say I got murdered on these comments. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the L on this one. I don't think I'm wrong.
So like, we're not attacking him at all. I think we both laugh, we both smile, we both enjoy making content.
And you pay extra fees for the annuity.
It's always funny to me, but like even things that he talks about, like fees.
He's literally saying things about annuities that just aren't true. It doesn't take an opinion. You can just look this stuff up. It's not hard to realize that there are annuities that don't have an annual fee. If you really understand an annuity, what you said was accurate, and you even prefaced it by saying, if you want to take all your money out, there's a penalty. I'm not pro or anti-annuity. I'm pro abundance mindset. I'm pro living and enjoying your life. I'm pro seeing your grandkids go graduate from college. You know, I'm pro being your best self in retirement.
Why does Dave Ramsey hate annuities? Just lay out the pros and cons of why someone would want to use an annuity and why they shouldn't use an annuity.
You can look at economists from like all the major schools of, you know, business, economics, retirement. They all agree unilaterally that annuities are optimal sources of retirement income. And the proof is that it worked before we broke it.
Hey, Danny, welcome to the BetterWealth show.
Hey, thanks, Caleb. Thanks for having me, man. Really glad to be here.
So we were on and we reacted to Dave Ramsey, a couple of videos.
Okay.
We talked about Ken Fisher. We'll link the full video in this video for those of you that have not seen that. And we had a short that got clipped from there. Our team does a phenomenal job. All right.
Incredible.
They clipped this video together. And I'll just say I got murdered on these comments. And being the person I am, like, this is what I want people to know. Like, some people are like have a fragile ego and they like never can be wrong. And I watched this clip and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the L on this one. I don't think I'm wrong, but when I look terrible in this clip. Number one, we look like we're laughing in Dave Ramsey's face. We don't look respectful. No. And the other thing is, I say, there's no fees, but there's surrender charges. And like in the same sense, I don't even take a breath on how they edit this thing. I'm like, oof, you know, I'm not wrong, but we can break down of like a little bit more in depth. This is our most viewed short on our YouTube channel. So that just tells you that sometimes you got to make videos that, you know, people dislike and you get more views. But I think this is going to be great. So without further ado, let me play the clip. I can read some comments. But we're going to break down this and then we're going to be able to talk about more things. Because again, when it comes to annuities, when it comes to distribution planning, comes to Dave Ramsey, lots of people have opinions. Yeah. And I think there's a lot that we can learn in there. So without further ado, here's the clip.
What is an annuity? It's a savings account with a life insurance company.
It's not, by the way.
There are two types of savings accounts with life insurance companies: fixed and variable. And it grows inside of an annuity tax deferred like a 401k or an IRA does. And you pay extra fees for the annuity.
It's always funny to me, but like even things that he talks about, like fees, no annuity that I've ever sold has fees. If you want to take all your money out, yes, there's a surrender charge. In a lot of cases, in a lot of annuities that we work with, we're doing low surrender charges. You're not going to take all that money out anyways, because if your money's in an IRA and 401k, you're getting charged as well if you're taking all that money out. All right, so top comment on this, I got 44 up likes, is there are no fees, just charges. LOL. WTF. The other person put, so Dave Ramsey is wrong because he's right. Great post, guys. Great post. Another person's like, I'm not even a Ramsey fan. No fees, just charges. Wild statement. This is my response to the top comment. I said, I totally get what you're saying. We will be making a video soon sharing the differences between surrender charges and percent-based fees. I will take the L on this video. I agree that how this was edited does not look good at all. Thanks for keeping me humble in the comments. So that is how I feel today. Like I am so grateful for people that keep a pulse and call us out. People aren't afraid to do that. And that's why I'm bringing you back on, because I'm not going to address everybody without the person that got me in this situation to begin with. Thanks, Danny. So
Thanks.
without further ado, what's your thoughts? I've been talking for a while now.
Because I have so much to say about you and Ramsey and this clip and everything. So first off, you don't pay me to be here. We formed a friendship over the years from both being in the same industry. And I don't, comment on all of your videos, but I always jump in on the ones where somebody is critical of you as a person, because if anybody knows who you are, you're like one of the most humble, kind people I've ever met. So, I'm not just saying that because I'm on your channel. I'm telling you genuinely, like, that's what I think of you and who you really are and how you show up. I think a lot of people see that in your content when they come to your events. And I think a lot of people who know you would say the same thing. I know you have a tremendous amount of respect for the work that Dave Ramsey does, because he's serving people with a framework for the right type of people who need his work. And there's a lot of people that need to get out of debt. They need to figure out their next step. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Ramsey. Like, he does great work. He's probably the most influential person in that space that has ever existed. Maybe there's an argument for that. Like, he's made a really big impact for the right people, right? So, like, we're not attacking him at all. I think we both laugh, we both smile, we both enjoy making content. So we're going to laugh. We're going to have fun with it. It's not like we're, sitting here so somber. But so I can't really speak to the laughing part of it. Like, we just smile and laugh and have fun. We certainly weren't laughing at him or making fun of him by any means. I think we both hold him in tremendous respect. But he serves people in a certain framework. When he tends to step out of that framework, specifically into retirement and insurance, I think that's when a lot of people start to push back, because they go, okay, well, when does this framework go from like serving people to like not really very helpful for them? And I think we felt compelled to comment on this video because he's literally saying things about annuities that just aren't true. It doesn't take an opinion. You can just look this stuff up. It's not hard to realize that there are annuities that don't have an annual fee. In fact, a lot of annuities don't have an annual reoccurring fee. And so where you got butchered in these comments was, yes, it looked bad from an editing perspective, but if you really understand an annuity, what you said was accurate. And you even prefaced it by saying, if you want to take all your money out, there's a penalty. The best thing I could liken that to would be a CD at the bank. You wouldn't think a CD at the bank has a fee. Like, no banker in the history of CDs has ever said, hey, this CD has a fee. But guess what? If you want all your money out at once, you're going to pay a penalty. Is that a fee? Yes. If you want liquidity on all your money at once, that's the fee. But what you're trying to make a distinction on is Ramsey's saying that they're charging extra fees just for it being an annuity. That's the point of the video. Right. It has nothing to do with what you said at all. It has to do with the fact that he's literally telling people that you're going to pay more just to have an annuity when you could just go get a savings account. And that's just not true. And that's the part that we had to call out, because the problem with YouTube is people are watching these videos and they're really genuinely trying to learn. And when you have people saying stuff that's not true, it's very confusing. And you could actually be doing a disservice to that person who could benefit from an annuity. And I'm not saying that annuities are right for everybody. Maybe that person in this video could do something better. But to say that an annuity is a savings account and you pay extra fees for it, that is not true. And that has to be called out. Otherwise, how's anybody going to learn what they really are?
Right. So if this is your first video, welcome to BetterWealth. We want you to live an intentional life, and we make videos and have other services to help you do that. And I bring on people that are smart and that are experts. And Danny is one of them. He's a friend, but he is world-class at helping people maximize their retirement income. And there's a lot that we can talk about that. If we took a step back from a standpoint, you talked about frameworks and all, and this is someone's first video. They didn't watch our other video, which will be linked down below, which has less than 2,000 views. So it still did well, relatively, but it's not. It shows you that sometimes a short video will get a lot more exposure than maybe a long form, because everyone maybe has 60 seconds. Not everyone has 30 plus minutes to watch something. The question I have for you is, why annuities? If this is someone's first video, it's like, why are you a fan of annuities, Danny? And like, why does Dave Ramsey hate annuities? And then why is he right or wrong in the aspects of that? So I know I gave you 10 questions in one. That's kind of my style, but like, just lay out the pros and cons of why someone would want to use an annuity and why they shouldn't use an annuity.
Sure. First off, it's really important for me to share with you, my mission is to help people realize their purpose in retirement. So that may mean that an annuity is not right for you. Like, I don't think annuities are right for everybody. I'm not pro annuity. I'm not a fan of annuities. I just want to be clear that unless you've sat with somebody who's running out of money, you're not going to have the perspective of the value of what an annuity does for somebody's life. Like, you're just not. So, if you're a person who's like a serious real estate investor and you're all about growth and you're all about growing businesses and buying businesses and growth and growth and growth, then an annuity may not be the right course of action for you. But if you're somebody who actually coincidentally falls into a large majority of Dave Ramsey's framework, somebody who's what we would call like maybe a regular working American who saved for retirement, they have what they have, and they're getting ready to enter the next 30, 40 years without a paycheck, and they don't have a pension, and Social Security is not going to meet all their need for basic lifestyle and expenses, then an annuity is going to be the most optimal way to cover those expenses. Now, optimal doesn't mean best, and it doesn't mean that it's, going to be the way that I would go every single time. What it means is it's going to be right more times than it's wrong. And Tom Hegna has proved this to us for the last 20 years. And the data shows that, when you used to work for a corporation in America, they would give you a pension and you would have a guaranteed lifetime income check for the rest of your life and your spouse's life. Nobody ran out of money. There was no retirement crisis. There was no baby boomer dilemma. My job didn't exist. There was no need for retirement income planning. You got a pension. You had lifetime income that covered your check. Nobody worried. Nobody worried about how long they were going to live. Well, what happened was in the late 80s, early 90s, everybody switched over to the 401k. Corporations realized it was much cheaper to match an employee contribution if they contributed than provide a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of their life. You fast forward 40 years from there, you have a retirement crisis. People with no investment training were now, shifted all the responsibility on how to save for retirement onto them. They didn't know how much to put in, when to rebalance, how much they could take out. And so now you have a real problem. And people are living longer on top of that. So an annuity can do a lot of things, but at its core, it's going to provide you with that guaranteed lifetime paycheck that you're going to need to make sure you can live as long as you want and feel confident that you can spend from the abundance mindset and not get wrapped up in this scarcity game where you're going, oh my gosh, I'm running out. I just don't know when I'm going to run out. And you're living a very unfulfilling and miserable life in retirement. I have been blessed to sit with people in their 80s, 90s, even centurions. And so I've seen the pros and the cons of setting aside the proper amount of income for retirement. And I've seen the different lifestyles people live when they have a secure paycheck for the rest of their life. I'm not pro or anti-annuity. I'm pro abundance mindset. I'm pro living and enjoying your life. I'm pro seeing your grandkids go graduate from college. I'm pro being your best self in retirement. That's what matters to me. And so if lifetime income can remove that scarcity element and allow you to show up more powerfully, then an annuity could be the right choice, And so that's where I think, sometimes this framework can do a disservice to retirement savers, is because if you tell people, oh, annuities are junk and they're bad, well, you may be causing somebody to miss out on the right tool for them. And that's why I think it's so important that we do make these videos and we have these good conversations.
And Dave, and back to our original video on Dave Ramsey, the way he thinks is, number one, he uses numbers like 12% annual growth. And then he uses distribution of like 7, 8, 9, 10%, depending on how. And it's like when you throw out those numbers, of course, annuity, like why in the world would you want an annuity if you're earning 12% and you can take out 8? Like there's no reason for that. And so we were talking about like why those numbers are pretty insane and why we just disagree. And I thought you did a really good job articulating that. Yeah. And so Dave Ramsey has his way of thinking. And of course, with that way of thinking, annuity, like if I had that belief, I would not ever want to touch annuities as they're currently, because they literally are doing the same or slightly inferior, but you lose some control. Yeah. But your whole deal, and I love your definition of optimal, doesn't mean best across the board. It just means what was it? Doesn't mean best across the board. It just means the best.
It'll be right mathematically more times than it's wrong.
Yeah, and so from a standpoint of income, when it comes to like reverse engineering of like, hey, you've worked your entire life. How does this look? Like, of course, not everyone's going to have the same scenario. Some people will be like, no, I'm like love real estate. I love like the rolling the dice. I love those things, and like that might work best for them. But like, there's a large group of people, including myself, who's entrepreneurial, who like my mindset changed like when the business started paying me a salary. Like that's just a micro example of like what it potentially could feel like as annuity is like, is that efficient or efficient? I don't know. But like there was something that changed when I like was like, you know what, we're going to start paying our family a salary. And there was some stability that happened because I live off of that salary. And if BetterWealth is successful and there's profits, amazing. But I'm going to live off of that salary. Annuity could be very similar. It's like, we're not saying that all your money needs to be an annuity. In fact, I don't think you would ever recommend that. No. But there's like, if you look at your portfolio, it's like, no one's saying like, oh, throw out your pension or like, you don't need Social Security. Those are utilizing annuities essentially for those products. And it's essentially pensionizing part of your portfolio. And is that right for everyone? No, but you do change your energy changes when you know that you have income coming for the rest of your life. And for some people, that literally could be the difference of them living a more fulfilled, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds.
It's really important, Caleb. Like, it's a great point. And it's easy for guys like you and I, 20s, 30s, to speculate. We have our whole life ahead of us, like how it's going to feel one day when we go to retire and what that's going to look like. It's really, really simple. You take somebody who's 65 years old and you tell them to put 100% of their money in the market and take out 8% a year. I promise you, I've sat with thousands of families. You will find that family has moved all their money to cash within 3 years. They will be so petrified that, you know what kind of steel nerves that takes to say that this is the money you're going to have for the rest of your life and you could take out 8% and never run out. That's just way too risky. Most people don't have it. Retirement's a scary enough prospect in itself, let alone you want them to take the ultimate risk like that. It's terrifying for people. And so what's really important is that we get away from this whole thing of like, are annuities bad or good? Like, marketers are so brilliant to put people in these frameworks and say it's very polarizing, right? Like, annuities are bad, so you should do what I sell, or annuities are good, so you should come buy one from me. Like, they're not good or bad, right? Like, I just always look at what the economists do. You can look at economists from like all the major schools of, business, economics, retirement. They all agree unilaterally that annuities are optimal sources of retirement income. And the proof is that it worked before we broke it. The pension system worked. It was fine before. It was corporations that wanted to make more money, shift this liability onto retirement savers, that really showed us that, hey, there was a lot of value there and people weren't running out of money before. They were having great lifestyles. And so I take it as my mission to say, you know what, like everybody, has or had grandparents at one point. And if we can be proactive and help these people to retire with dignity and enjoy their life and not be stressed out, and really maximize that time they have with their loved ones and their legacy, then that's really important. And that's the focus.
I love it, guys. If you have any questions regarding retirement income process, annuities, and just want to learn more from Danny, we're going to have him on more frequently. And so if you have videos that you want us to react to or you have questions, please put them in the comments. If you're interested in working with Danny or wanting to know more about how he operates, we'll have a link to where you can connect with him. And Danny, thank you for helping us grow our movement. I know you have a YouTube channel as well. We'll link that. And it's exciting to see this content and this information hopefully impacting lots of people.
Caleb, thanks for giving me an opportunity to share it, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys are doing at BetterWealth.